So, folks, anyways, here we are. We're at the, and what's the name of this fortress here?
Fortress, it's a Kyiv fortress.
So this is the Kyiv fortress, but it was also known as a, it was also used as a prison, though, wasn't it?
Yes.
At one point?
Yeah.
So what do? We walk this way?
So
Okay.
let's go because we're gonna have a helicopter right here.
Oh, there's going to be a helicopter coming.
Yeah, because
I've lived in multiple places. I was up in Maidan Square. I was down there Contractova. And then I moved over here at Ukraini. I'm right over here. Now we don't have any water. You know that water, you know, the water line that blew up in the middle of the medium. So I haven't had electricity off and on. I don't have Wi-Fi now. And now I don't have water. I haven't had water for 2 days.
oh, okay. We're gonna have a helicopter because here we have a military polyclinic.
Right.
And from time to time they transfer wounded people.
It's for the wounded people. I know because
And
from my apartment, I can see it come right at the same level as my apartment.
The hospital is over there.
The hospital's over there. That's right.
Unfortunately, we are not allowed into it.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
that territory.
Yeah. So the
So, do you really need an excursion?
well, yes. So I paid the extra. I paid the $700 for the. So if you could tell me about the history behind this fortress, and then what it was later utilized as a prison, and who are some of the famous prisoners?
Well, first, it's not the whole fortress.
It's not the whole fortress.
We are on the territory so-called hospital fortification, the hospital fortification.
Okay.
In general, the Kyiv fortress consists, at least it consisted once, of 4 big parts.
4 big parts.
So it's one of those parts.
Right. Right.
So formally it isn't a fortress, it's only a part of the fortress.
It was only a part of the fortress.
The Kyiv fortress is quite big, and the central part was constructed during the period of Peter the First.
Peter the First. Wow.
Yeah, and they finished their constructing in 1723.
1723. Wow.
And for the first, it was self-efficient fortress, but then they added several more fortifications.
Sure.
around it.
Sure.
And this is one of those fortifications.
Okay.
Now
this is the extension to the original fortress.
Yeah.
Now, what?
Yeah, in fact, we are walking along the so-called moat.
Oh, this is where the moat was.
Yes. So the scarp wall, ramparts.
You can see the ramparts and the cannons
Cannons.
up there on the hill.
They are not.
And this is all original. I can see, obviously.
Yeah. You see, there was reconstruction.
Reconstruction.
During from 1997 till 2002.
2002.
And they reconstruct, restore the ramparts, and you see some objects couldn't be restored. They can be rebuilt only.
Wow.
So they constructed those walls. You see the difference in color
Sure.
of
course.
bricks.
Yeah.
This is a modern brick, and here you see the remnants of the 19th century.
The 19th century.
In fact, this kind of yellow brick was produced in Kyiv.
It was produced right here in Kyiv.
And it's quite an interesting material because the clay is blue.
Wow.
But when
it's fired,
when it's baking,
that's when it's baked.
it turns
yellow.
into yellow.
Wow, that's interesting. Yeah, the
It's,
composition,
kind of
chemical
patriotic.
composition,
It's a composition of our
minerals, all the minerals that they transition into a whole different color once they're baked and they're heated.
This is so-called Caponier.
Oh wow.
Here you see embrasures, the cannons, Caponiers protected the walls and ramparts
Right.
during the assault.
Okay.
If the enemy was already here, they produced flanking
No,
fire.
who was the enemy?
Who was the enemy? You see when it was a period of Peter I, the enemy was Turks.
The Turks, right? The
and,
Turkish Ottomans
and Pole people.
and the Polish people.
Poles. Then when the so-called Zvirinetsky fortification was constructed before the invasion of Napoleon.
Oh, no, before the invasion of Napoleon.
And,
So Napoleon came through here.
No.
No, he didn't?
You see, they didn't know which way
Oh, he was coming from.
he gonna take.
But they were getting ready for him, just in case.
Yes, just in case they fortified additionally their main part and constructed one more.
Wow.
So-called Zvirinetsky fortification. As for Vasilkivsky, the hospital fortification, God knows.
Right.
Because no, it's my personal opinion that Tsar Nicholas I was just very fond of Kyiv and very fond of fortification.
Wow. Well, that's something.
In fact, that huge luxurious fortress never was involved into any
Right.
part of a kind of wars.
Sure.
But they constructed lots of facilities and they had to use them somehow.
Right.
So here in this semicircular tower, they decided to locate a school for the military medical assistants.
I see.
So they are teenagers of age 12, 17. They started their studying at 12.
Right. Yes.
And at the age of 17, they were considered as specialists.
Specialists. Wow, at that age. Because I know the Europeans, they start very early in college, 15, 16. You know.
In fact, only half of those poor military medical assistants lived up to their 30s birthday.
Right. Yeah, because of, it's the mortality rate. People died much younger.
Mortality and mortality among people in general and among medical people.
Right.
Medical
Now, after all of that era ended, and then this remained, and of course, I know there's probably some ruins. A lot of it, some of it was restored. Like you can see, the moat was filled in. But this was utilized as a prison at one point, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. No, it was utilized as store for ammunition.
Okay.
It was utilized. Here we have a hospital and polyclinic. This building was used at the school.
Right.
In fact, they studied here, those boys, and they lived here.
Okay.
One more interesting moment here, you can see how it was constructed.
Yes.
At once. You see the rectangulars, these are places for embrasures.
Right.
Embrasures and gun loopholes.
Okay.
So,
Get the turrets.
They just constructed it and they had to change it at once because, of course, those guys at that school, they needed windows.
Right,
not
right.
embrasures.
Of course.
And they began to widen embrasures and turn them into windows.
Into windows.
Here you can see that it wasn't so easy because the thickness of the walls.
Right, yes.
1.5 meters.
And you can see through how the depth of the turrets
Yeah.
that it's a good 1.5 meters, yes.
In fact, it's approximately my height.
It's impressive.
It's,
That's pretty thick, yeah. That's when they made the transition into a prison, who were some of the famous prisoners that were kept here?
prisoners. So here we have the area of the prison yard. Here.
Oh, this is the prison yard.
You can see stockade at turns here and there. It showed the closed area.
Right.
So,
This was their prison yard. This is where they let the guys out during the day.
So here we're gonna visit one of our Caponiers. It's the the biggest Caponier.
Okay.
And first it was used as storage
Okay,
for
right.
ammunition and weaponry.
I see.
But in 1863, a big serious Polish rebellion started in the Russian Empire.
Oh, wow.
So, in fact, it lasted during a year and a half. But at once, some of those Polish people were arrested,
Yes.
insurgent, and they were transferred to Kyiv, and several our Caponiers
Right.
were changed.
Sure.
They turned from Caponiers into small prisons.
Right.
But in fact, it wasn't a long time prison, it was a custody.
Okay.
So they got here, then they were sentenced, and
So it was like an intake.
They
It was an
go-
intake, and it was like pre-prison. It was where they processed the prisoners, and then they would send them off to other areas.
yeah,
I see.
and after some interrogation and so
Right,
on.
of course.
So here,
Classification and all that.
You see the cross
Right.
and tables.
Gloria Invictus.
They were made by Poles, and they appeared here in 2018.
Okay, they were put here in 2018.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you can see it.
I see. Right. Okay.
So this rebellion began in January,
Right.
and every January some representatives of Poland come here and put flowers and everything.
I see. Yeah. For some of their national heroes, as they consider them, because they were rebelling against the Russians, and then of course, in the interim, they were processed here by the Russians. Wow. So look at this. This is
So here we have some
Nice and cool in here.
Boston. Yeah.
nice and cool.
It's quite cool. It's quite cool here, and really cool too.
Wow. Now these plaques. What are these plaques?
So, these plates contain names of 815 Polish insurgents who were arrested and got into our Caponiers. In general, 3,100 insurgents went through our Caponiers, but some names are still unknown.
Oh wow. Yeah. I've been into in Helm, Poland, the Chalk Caves, which was another experience. Wow, look at this. This is incredible.
I'll show you a ticket to this lake.
Okay. Hello.
Hello.
Let me see if I get the right one here. I got my pocket full of. Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This Caponier, the half of this Caponier is dedicated to their prison topic, and half of it to weaponry and ammunition.
Wow.
So, here you can shoot your video with one exception.
Okay.
So, there we have a collection, a private collection of
Okay.
machine guns,
I
and
getcha.
the owner is strictly against.
I see.
filming
Okay. Okay.
And picturing his
All right.
collection.
I get
So-
you. Now, his private collection are actual ammunition and weapons from the era, from like 100 years ago, or
No, it's
are they relatively new? World War II, World War One.
Yes.
I see.
There are some samples of the World War One
Okay.
and World War II too.
I get you.
Here we have a cart.
Right.
It transferred people to the place of their execution.
Oh,
So, this place was quite far from here. It's so-called Olecsandr Fort.
is this a reproduction, or is it?
No, it's true.
It's an actual original.
It's an
So-
original
So, folks, some of the Polish rebels,
No.
they weren't Polish?
You see, they were not Polish because Caponier turned into a prison, into a custody in 1863, and it still remained custody at the beginning of the 20th century.
Okay, so who were some of the prisoners that
Some
were?
prisoners, military men.
Oh, they were military.
Mostly military men, which were relative to some political
I see.
crimes.
Right. So they were here. They were political prisoners, and then they were carted off. And this is the actual vehicle, the cart, the true original that carted off these political prisoners and soldiers to their education, to their execution, I should say.
It was found in the yard of Lukyanovskaya prison.
Oh, now where's the Oleksandr prison? Where's that?
Because from time to time it transferred some prisoners from prison to Caponier for interrogation.
How far? What kind of a distance is that to transport?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Not too far.
not too far, right? But that's the original cat. That's impressive. Wow, can you imagine? You can feel the energy. You know, it's like.
So here we have a casemate. For the first, it was 4 cannons. Of course, here you see 2 embraces.
Right.
There were a mount, 4 cannons.
4 cannons.
And, it was for firing out.
It was for firing out.
And here you can see big hooks.
Yes.
It was just for putting cannons upon the mounts.
Wow. So those big
You see,
hooks.
cannons were quite heavy.
Yes.
And it was difficult to take it from the floor to put it on.
Sure.
So they tied it with ropes through those ropes over.
Through those hooks.
And forward.
Wow.
And then,
To level it out and to bring it up to the height of that turret. Yes. Wow. That's incredible.
so this is their central part. It's called powder chamber. They kept ammunition, shells,
Right.
powder here.
Yes.
And it was changed quite considerably. You see, the Kyiv engineering team made these doors, and they constructed additional walls. You see, it was one big casemate,
Right.
but it was divided with this wall into 2 cells.
Wow.
Here you see a general cell. It looks like this during the time of Polish rebellion.
So this is an actual straw bed.
No, it isn't
Is it?
from that time, of course.
No.
It's a reconstruction.
Yeah, it's a reconstruction, but what I'm saying is it symbolizes and it represents the type of bedding that they had back then. They had straw beds. This is what they slept on.
They didn't have any linen or something.
They had no linen. They had no sheets. Maybe a guy would be gracious enough to throw them a blanket, but they had straw. You could see. Can you imagine having one of these stuck in your side? You wake up and all you can smell is straw, and how uncomfortable that must have been. And they made it that way to be uncomfortable, huh?
In fact, they could keep here from 15 till 20 people.
On one bed.
And they took turns sleeping because
They couldn't fit 20.
Those guys.
Yeah, so 10 at a time, right?
Yeah. What I have to say to remind you that those people were not. Those people didn't stay here for long.
They didn't stay here for long. That's right. They were here to be processed,
Sentence.
intake, and to be classified, and then sent off and sent after they're sentenced to another
Yeah.
facility.
In fact, this crucifixion pulls
Wow.
on their own.
Yes, you know, I mean, because you had to have faith in something, right? When you're in an environment like this that's, you know, degrading and it's dehumanizing, you have to have faith in something. And they drew Jesus Christ up on the wall.
Polish people are still very religious.
Exactly. I know they're very religious, the Catholics in Poland. Because I go there frequently, yeah. Well, this is quite impressive. So this is a straw bed.
So, here you can see a toilet.
Right.
And here you can see a door, especially for these kind of toilets.
And the guards would take the toilets out and empty it.
Yeah.
They'd have latrine duty, and they would pull it through there. And of course, it wasn't a pleasant experience for anybody. Those are the grim realities of being incarcerated, especially back in that day.
And temperature here was never higher than 15 degrees Celsius.
You know, that was one good thing about it. They didn't have to sweat too much. Right?
That's true.
Some of the, you know, look at that,
You can see
suffering
a prisoner and a smith.
in a Smith.
Because they needed smiths to shackle
Right,
the person
I see.
into shackles.
And so that was the blacksmith that shackled the prisoners, and there's the prisoner. And you can see he looks like Jesus because, you know, he's probably been through, supposedly, what Jesus had been according to the story, you know, and many other people. You can see the anguish on his face. And, you know, he's very lean. I'm sure they didn't feed him that much, you know, just enough to keep him alive.
And in fact, here you can see shackles.
Oh, and here's some shackles right there.
It wasn't possible to put it off anytime you want.
Okay.
Because the shackles were sealed.
They were sealed. That's right. That's right. Yeah, they couldn't take them off. So and it was either the blacksmith or one of the prison officials that would do that.
To take it off.
Yeah. Wow.
So in fact, they were quite heavy. These type of shackles were near 7-8 kilos.
Oh wow.
Those four.
Oh,
Yes.
so it was like it was more than it was. Might as well say it was a ball and chain. You know, they were 7 or 8 kilos to have those anklets on, very heavy. So that was they were in chains.
And in fact, they were shackled before their sentence. They
Wow.
were just transferred here and shackled at once.
Wow. And they were shackled probably all the way to the next destination, to the next prison.
Here you can see punishing cells. They are prisoners called down stone sacks.
So what
Stone sacks.
so they would have stone sacks?
No, like a bag.
Oh.
Sack.
So they would have sacks full of stones? What were these rooms for?
It's for punishing.
Oh, so it was
If a prisoner violated some discipline,
it was the hole. They call it in prison. They call it the hole, or it was segregation, or it was isolation.
Yeah.
Isolation. These are the isolation chambers that the prisoners were put in for probably sometimes 30, 60, 90 days, 10 days, 20 days.
The term can be from 3 days till 2-3 weeks.
Oh wow! And they would feed them, right? They would still feed them. They would open up these little,
Yes, of course.
and they would put.
Because yes, they were feed, but they were not let out of there.
They were not let out of there from between 3 days and 3 weeks. Wow.
And they stayed there in complete darkness.
Now, did they have? They must have had a little potty for toilet, toilet pot probably. No.
The guards just washed the floor after they
and it would go through that drain.
Yes.
So they'd just come in here and wash it down, it would go through that drain. They had no potty, they would poop and pee on the floor. A guard would come through with a bucket of water, splash it all through that little drain, and that was how they cleaned things up.
Something like this.
Wow.
And right here we have cells where the officers were kept.
This is the officers' barracks?
No, it's not a barrack, it's a cell.
It's a cell
It's
for the prison staff.
no.
This is where the prison guards?
That common cell, the general cell for soldiers. It was used for soldiers.
Oh, for soldiers.
This was used for officers.
Okay, so this was used for the officers that were in here, that would come, and they were still cots. I don't know if they had any mattresses on top.
Yeah, they had some mattresses, but they had mattresses and towels only for the night.
For the night, right?
In the morning they had to take it and to give back to
And what's this over
to
here?
make it less comfortable.
What's that all about?
It's about prisoners of the beginning of 20th century.
1907.
In 1905 there was the first Russian Revolution that failed.
Right.
And of course a lot of military men were involved into these events.
Yeah.
And they got into our Caponiers, like those Poles.
Yes, just like the Poles. And wasn't there a serial killer that was in here?
No,
No.
mostly it's not for criminals.
Wasn't for
really.
so was it mostly political
Political
prisoners?
crimes.
Political prisoners, I see. And here's another soldier's bunk room, as you can see. They have a toilet in there. And
And here you can see the scheme.
okay, that's the scheme.
Of our Caponier.
Right, at the Caponier.
So it looks like a horseshoe.
Yes, it looks like a horseshoe.
But it's datable to 1911.
1911.
Some of the walls here are not exist already.
Right.
We went through that posting,
Okay.
and now we are here, somewhere here.
Oh, I see. Wow.
Punishing rooms, and you see these cameras.
Yes. Wow. And look at some of these.
So it's a collection of different types of weaponry. These are the oldest ones, of course.
The cannon.
Here you see cannons, a cannon and howitzer.
Yes.
We don't have a mortar, but we have a shell.
Yeah.
mortar.
That's a good sized shell too. Oh, cannonball. Woo. It's a big one. That would do some damage, no doubt. And the cannon that would shoot that would be bigger than anything in this room. Probably one of the ones that are up on the hill
Yeah.
when we first came in. Yeah, those are quite large.
Cannonballs. Right.
And the cannons. And some of it, like that's probably an original, I'm sure.
Oh, it's an original.
Yes.
Howitzer.
Wow, it's a howitzer. That's one of the original
The
howitzers.
first howitzers were supposed to be used here in our Caponiers because they're not very powerful and they don't jump too much after they shoot.
Yes, no doubt. And look at, you can see
It was good
the thickness of the turrets of the walls. They're very, very thick. And some more cannonballs and some little shells from 1877.
That's for rifled artillery already, because the rifled artillery began to develop in 1860s.
1860s, right? Wow.
And here you can see a quite bright
Colored.
colored marks.
Yes.
You see at that period the soldiers were mostly former peasants completely illiterate people who can't read, write.
Yes. So they marked them up for
They want,
identification.
yes, to
Easy.
help them to understand what they need to take.
Exactly. You know, color association and symbols.
So here we have grenades.
Oh, yes.
So we have quite
Early
an interesting,
grenades.
Collection of hand grenades. In fact, they were used widely for the first time during the First World War.
Wow. Can you imagine what wars were fought over? World War I, World War II, trench wars in World War I. It's incredible.
And now we have again.
Yes, and now you have again.
A trench
That's
war.
right. And the Donetsk, you know, Luhansk, Kyiv.
So here we have a very interesting part. You see at the moment whole explosion.
Oh, yes.
This is the shell, and here you can see
Fragments.
the fragments.
The shrapnel, yes, wow.
After that explosion.
That would cut somebody in half.
So, and here you see a chemical grenade.
Oh, it's a chemical grenade.
It's a period of the First World War.
Imagine that. What kind of chemicals are in there? Like ammonia?
God knows. Okay.
All kinds of gases, right?
I know only one name.
Mustard gas. Iprit.
So it was used first by France,
Oh, wow.
and then by German, and the consequences were so awful that after that war it was prohibited.
It was prohibited.
The usage of chemical weapon is still
Mustard
officially
gas and all that bad stuff.
prohibited.
Right, yeah, wow.
And here we have the only one machine gun you can feel.
Look at that, huh? And that was air cooled. I mean, it was water cooled. They used to put water in there.
Yeah, because the rate of shooting was very high.
Very high, so it heated up.
600 rounds per minute.
Right.
So the barrel was overheated.
Yes.
Sometimes they did some thick barrels or something, and sometimes they used metal cases to pour water into it.
Absolutely.
And it was boiling during the shooting.
Yes.
In fact,
That's a German helmet. Looks like.
yeah.
That got. Wow.
And
What a collection. Incredible.
so here we have a rifle, a very famous one. In Russian Empire it was called Mosinka, after Mosin,
Right.
engineer. Now some experts say that it's a system of Nagant, and
Right.
Mosin just improved it a little.
Okay.
The improvement, there was one really serious improvement. You see, the previous rifles, you have to reload after each shoot.
Right.
And this is the first rifle that has a magazine.
It has the magazine right in there.
Magazine for 5 rounds, 1 round in the barrel, and you can forget
Reciprocating, yeah.
about a roll.
With the magazine. Wow.
In fact, they used the same rounds like those. It's private collection.
Oh, that's the private collection. Okay, sorry about that. That's all right. All right. But
In fact, it's quite heavy.
can I hold that?
Of course.
Can you give me a?
Hand.
Yeah, and then you aim that tight.
Так,
Yeah, turn it yeah, like that. There we go.
ага. Oh,
Okay.
no, it's
Wow. This is quite heavy.
yes, it's 4 kilos and a half.
4.5 kilos. Wow. That's something else.
In fact, it was used during the First World War, during the Second World War, in the Soviet Union.
Yeah. I mean, I even understand they were using these even recently.
Yeah.
Some of these because they had quite a few of them.
Yeah,
And they were still using them.
They're not really happy about it.
No, they're not happy, but they had no choice really.
It's,
And that's an accordion.
it's a submachine gun.
Wow.
in the Soviet Union in 1940.
It had a barrel magazine. It was like
Yes, it can be different.
a Tommy gun. It's probably one of the.
Yeah, it looks like a Tommy gun.
Wow.
But it
That's
can
something
use
else.
different types of magazine.
Can you get one more picture of me?
Of course.
Oh, that's enough. This is even heavier. This one?
No, I don't think so. It's shorter.
It's short, yeah,
because
but it's still pretty heavy though.
it's quite heavy. Do you know how to use it?
Oh well.
No.
I know how to use an M.
I can see it.
Yeah. Wow, that's impressive. And of course, they had to have their entertainment, so there was an accordion. You know, I've heard some really good accordionists out in the tunnels, out in Krasanik Street. I've heard a couple. In Poland, there was a woman out there playing the accordion.
Yeah, you can see one more motor. So that's the period of the Second World War.
Wow, they came a long way. You know, as people warmongers, you know, they invented.
Here you can see a hand machine gun.
Wow.
Of German origin.
German origin.
It's, again, they were picked up after the Second World War.
Wow. Amazing.
And here we have a little corner of honor for the events of 2014.
Of the present, yes, and
2015, and after that, the war really began, but not so intensive.
the Maidan Square uprising, the revolution
Kind of revolution.
to get the Russian puppet out of there.
In fact, we have quite a stormy life here because we have revolutions every 10 years.
Every 10 years.
2004, then 2014.
Wow. And here's some radio equipment that.
It's not really, it's phones.
Oh, it's phones.
It's a field phone.
Oh, it's field operation phones.
They are still used from time to time, but
Wow.
you need a cable
You need a cable.
between them.
Right.
Yeah, they are quite reliable, and it's not possible to overhear.
It's not. That's right, because there's no frequencies, and it's just line to line. It's direct lined. Yeah. And wow, incredible.
And here you can see kind of trophies. They are uniforms of different types of separatists.
Oh, the separatists.
From Donetsk region, and here the uniform of the Russian soldier.
Oh wow.
It's a period of the intensive
Yes.
part of war.
Unbelievable.
So here you can see quite interesting things. You see, from time to time we make tours for people who have who getting treatment in our hospital.
Right.
And sometimes they presented us with something.
Some of the things.
One of our patients.
Look at that. Now this guy, that cell phone probably saved his life.
Yeah.
You know, look at, you had that bullet that goes right into the
He had
phone.
somewhere here in pocket.
He had it right in his pocket. Imagine that. And these are some of the things that they had on them when they were in battle in the field on the front.
Here you can see a fragment taken
fragment.
from the head.
That was a fragment taken from the patient, the soldier's head. It's war. It's really.
So this is a shot for so-called smirch.
What is it now?
A smirch.
It's a smirch. Is that a Russian?
It's Soviet.
It's a Soviet
Yes,
era.
it's a Soviet period of time. In fact, here we have only fragments. In one piece, it's near 7 meters
Oh wow.
long,
Yeah.
even a little more than 7 meters.
And well, I wonder what the distance that missile, that rocket could go. Probably 35,
Really, but
65 kilometers maybe.
maybe 40.
40, yeah.
40 kilometers, something like this.
Wow.
No, it's far from HIMARS, of course.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah. HIMARS now, thankfully, they're able to.
Here we get again to the period of the First World War. The field kitchens
Oh, yeah.
appeared at that period of time.
They had to be real ingenuitive. And
it was quite an improvement.
yes.
Because the huge armies appeared, it wasn't possible to cook for them on the fires.
Yeah, right. And these are just some of the supply boxes that they had.
And here you can see mines, used notes, tank mines,
Oh,
anti-personnel mine.
improvised, those are mines, right? Yeah, explosive devices and mines.
And this is so-called paddle.
That's a paddle.
No, it's a name. Lipstock.
What do they use it for?
Anti-personnel mine. If you
That thing would,
step on it, you're gonna.
that little thing right there?
Feet, huh?
That little thing was attached to a bomb probably on top of that, right?
Yeah, it's anti-personnel, and in fact they are quite widely used, and they can be of different colors.
Oh, they can be of different colors.
Green in summer, brown
To reflect
in autumn, and
That's
so
right.
on. And in fact, they had a timer. Some of those paddles had timers, and they exploded
Oh, wow.
on their own.
Yes.
But nobody knows the
Yeah.
time of the explosion.
Yeah.
So
Some more shells here.
that's about the Second World War again.
Look at those
Here
tanks.
You can see shells and weaponry
Yeah.
for those shells.
Wow. That's quite impressive. Look at these these are the ones that they drop from the airplanes, right?
No, it's not.
No?
You see,
Oh,
you can set
Oh, they shot with that, some sort of a,
it not put inside the barrel. It's just
wow. That's what they were shot from,
put.
these. Wow. Look at the size of them.
And here we have on the opposite parts you see the Soviets
From over there.
uniform and German uniform.
And then the German uniform, wow. And that was wool, actually, wool, wasn't it? Yeah. They must have really sweated in that. My goodness.
So this is it about this Caponier.
Okay, cool. Wow, that's really quite impressive. It makes you think, what's going to be next?
Next one more Caponier.
Okay, cool. Thank you, ladies. Okay. Okay. Oh, I love it. I like it cool. I like it cool because when it's hot outside, all you have to do is come down here and escape the heat.
We're gonna have one more opportunity to escape the heat.
Okay.
So we're still on the bottom, at the bottom of the moat.
Wow. So this is all moat. It's been filled in with.
No, it wasn't filled with water.
It wasn't filled with water. It was just pretty much just a separation between the fortress
Yeah.
and this rampart. This thing up here. This little hill.
There was such a phenomenon as a dry moat.
As a dry moat. Okay, I
Because
get
we
you.
are on the mountain.
We're on the mountain, right?
So it was impossible.
It was impossible.
to get water.
To keep water here, right? Exactly. It.
And here we have one more monument. See, it's dedicated to the events of 1905, 1907, the period of the first Russian Revolution. Lots of soldiers were involved in that revolution, and lots of them were arrested and brought
Here.
to our custody.
Wow.
So, and some of them were executed.
They were
right
executed.
here. You know, there were two types of execution, main types of execution in the Russian Empire.
Right.
The hanging, and people who were sentenced to be hanged.
Yes, hanged. Yes.
Hanged.
Yes. With the rope.
They were transferred to Olecsandr fort,
Okay.
to another fortress in Kyiv.
Right.
But people who were sentenced to be shot down, they were executed right here.
Right. Oh wow.
And usually they were executed in the middle of the night.
Middle of the night.
But in June of 1907, the government decided to arrange a public execution.
Okay.
And it happened right here. 11 military men were
Lined up.
lined up
And
along
shot.
this wall and shot here.
They were all shot here. Imagine.
And quite a lot of people could see it.
So it was a public execution. They lined up 11
Yeah.
political prisoners soldiers who were part of the revolution.
Participated in that first
1905 Russian Revolution, and they lined them up and they shot them.
But the citizens of Kyiv were so much outraged by this situation and complained so much that the authorities didn't dare to repeat such an action here.
Wow, that's something else. And you know, some of these bricks, you know, probably still have bullets in there.
No.
Never know, right?
No. The bullets of that period were quite soft.
Oh, they're quite soft.
They couldn't damage the
They couldn't damage the bricks. They just enough to kill the soldiers, right? Wow.
And here you can see the Caponier from outside.
Oh wow, yeah. Look at that. And so this was actually, when it wasn't being used for executions, it was the prison yard for the prisoners. They would let them out. They would come out here, and they would have fires.
I didn't understand.
Would they have a fire? They would campfire.
No. You see, from time to time, some clip makers, movie makers
Will come out
film
here.
Something here.
Oh, I getcha.
Here you can see just a movie set.
So this is pretty much just a movie set.
It looks like it looks quite warlike. That's
Yes.
why we decided to keep it here.
Okay. Wow.
So
Now.
it isn't of some historical value.
Okay, I getcha. Well, it still looks pretty cool.
You know, it's a good place to make some filming here.
Yes. Wow. That's pretty cool.
So, Caponier is of historical value.
Yes.
Here you can see how it looks from outside. It's in the moat.
Yeah.
And, it could produce flanking fire to protect walls and ramparts.
The flank fire in the ramparts. Yes. Wow. And you can actually see there's a more defined looking moat.
This moat.
Yes.
You see, it's for draining water.
It's for draining water.
You see,
Okay.
It's the lowest part of the area of this fortification.
I see.
So water could stay here.
So the water could stay here.
Yes, and they took that water with this little moat out of here.
And there's a little drawbridge here. Wow. And look at that. That the goblin, the ghoul.
So,
Wow.
and here you can see one more postern. Unfortunately, we're not allowed here.
Okay.
It's,
It's on a renovation,
yeah, some maybe not renovation,
but it's
some kind of repairing.
repairing. Okay.
Here you see the postern that goes through the rampart.
I see.
If to bring into the Caponier soldiers, weaponry, shells. They had to go
Through there.
Caponier, through that wall.
Now this was an assembly area? Was this an assembly area? Assembly, you know, where people gathered? People got together right here for meetings and just it's a big foyer. It's just a big...
if you are
coming
from there, here you are at the bottom of the moat again.
Okay.
And it's quite open.
It's quite open.
So they, to protect people here, they made two additional walls.
I get you.
This goes from the main wall to the back wall of Caponier.
Oh wow.
Of course, there was no roof.
There was no roof.
No.
Right. Oh wow, there's no roof. Yeah, it was just a little courtyard to, you know.
I know it's useful. It's different actions.
Sure, sure. Oh, nice and cool in here too.
So, here you can see the parts the Caponier consists of. This is so-called powder chamber.
It's a powder
they
chamber.
kept here ammunition, and around this powder chamber, the gallery of small casemates.
So these
We're gonna come here back again.
Okay. So some of these pictures are of recent events and
All the recent events, in fact. But
Yes.
here we have an exposition that tells us about fortification
okay.
on the area of Ukraine.
Right, right. Yeah.
And you see some ancient people just put their houses into several circles to make kind of
Those are from
fortress.
archaeological digs.
Yeah, it's so-called Tripilian culture.
Okay. Nopalian culture?
That was very long ago.
Wow, yes.
So, and here we have so-called Городище. It's a fortified settlement.
It's a fortified settlement.
Our ancestors, many
Wow.
centuries ago,
Many centuries ago, yes.
constructed something like this. The main elements: moat,
Yes, the moat,
rampart,
the
and
rampart.
stockade.
Yes.
It's quite possible that Kyiv took its beginning from something like this.
Sure, sure.
But the
Of course.
first there was this settlement.
All throughout the world, you know, they built fortifications to keep out their enemies. And Kyiv definitely was there.
And,
Had to do it themselves.
Here you can see the map of the modern European map,
Yes.
and here the area of Kyiv's Rus.
Okay.
Rus, how
Right.
it looked.
Back then, yeah. Wow.
Here we have quite interesting models. You see it's a model here and over there. Models of ramparts.
Yes.
You see the ramparts are not just hills of ground.
Right.
If you use only ground, the wind and water are destroyed
Sure.
very quickly.
Disintegrated,
So
yeah.
first, they constructed such things. In fact, around Kyiv, those wooden constructions were very high because the ramparts were 12 meters high
Yeah.
and several kilometers around ancient Kyiv.
Wow.
So, and together with these battle parts, it was 16 meters.
16 meters high. Wow. And here's some old armor.
It isn't. It's kind of reconstruction.
Reconstruction as well, but that reflects the look of the way it was back then. Which was, can you imagine going back in time? What a time it was.
You can see kind of It's a period of Cossacks.
Sure, the
Here
Cossacks.
you can see Cossack.
Oh, wow.
And Cossacks traveled a lot, and they had long
Convoys.
of
Caravans, yes.
of such carts.
Oh, wow.
And if someone threatened them, they put their carts into circles, tied them with chains, and they had some improvised fortress.
They did the same thing in the West, the Midwest in the United States with the caravans. All the same principle. It was,
In fact, in Europe, the
covered wagons.
So-called wagonburgs.
Oh, yeah.
Something like this. So, and it stands upon the map of Ukraine.
Yes.
Not this map, of course, it's a copy.
Right.
But the map, the original map was issued in Paris in 1648.
1648.
You see, it was a period when this part of Ukraine was in so-called the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. It was a big state in Europe.
Right.
And the French engineer, military engineer Guillaume de Beaupont, I don't know if I say it right, sorry for my French.
Said it better than I could have said it.
He served the Polish king.
Right.
And he traveled about this area during 17 years.
Wow.
And when he came back to France, he made, by his own initiative, this map. And he wrote a little book with his memorandum about Polish people, Ukrainian people, and so on.
Wow.
In fact, at that period of time, the name Ukraine already existed, but the name Russia didn't.
It didn't. No, that's right.
It was so-called Moscow state at that period.
Okay. Right. Wow. That's right. It's definitely the facts.
So, and here, at last, I can show you what our Kyiv fortress is.
Wow.
Here you see the central part, so-called citadel.
Right.
I told you it was constructed during the period of Peter I. That's Matsievskyi fortification. Then, before Napoleon invasion, Zvironetsky fortification was constructed. It's over there. In fact, it doesn't exist now. Because after the revolution of 1917, next year, 1918, there were still stormy events here. People fighted each other, and over there, in that fortification, there was an ammunition store. And someone set it on fire, and it exploded and disappeared. Now this is over there. There is an area of botanic garden.
Oh, botanic garden.
Nice. A very beautiful place.
Yeah.
So and then in 1830s, Vasilkivsky fortification was constructed. And during the period from 1836 till 1851, this fortification was constructed. We are over there.
We were over there.
This is the hospital fortification.
Okay, I see. Wow. Very nice.
And here you can see our route, in fact. You see?
Oh, yes.
The semicircular tower I told you about.
Right.
The school for military.
That's right, the school. And they started young, from 12 to 17.
Our ticket box.
Right. Yes.
And we are going here.
Okay, yeah, wow.
And we are in this particular.
Right now. Yes.
Facility.
This facility here, yes. Now that looks French over here. The hat.
It's about French army.
That's the French army, right?
French army. It's dedicated maybe to period of Napoleon.
Wow.
I don't know why it's here.
Yeah, but it definitely because of the hat we know it's French.
Because we heard it maybe. So this is the last big fortification constructed in the area of Kyiv. I told you about Olecsandr fort,
Yes.
where some people were executed.
Yes.
And here you can compare it. There you can see Matsievskyi, and you can see some fancy yellow buildings,
Right.
towers and everything. But there is no something like this here.
No.
Because it was constructed in 1870s, and their previous period, their rifled artillery
Sure.
began to develop.
Yeah.
And for the rifled artillery, it was a very easy task to destroy all those bricked
Oh, yes.
buildings.
Right.
So here, some stores and some important things are underground.
Uh-huh.
So it doesn't look so fancy.
But most of it's underground, yeah.
Yeah. And here we have a very interesting photo. It was taken in 1944 by German military men. It's
Shows the aerial view.
And here you can see the area of our fortress.
Right.
To understand, do you see the stadium?
Yes. Stadium, right.
A little higher.
A little higher.
You can see our
Okay.
the hospital
Yes.
fortification.
Yes.
A little to the right.
A little to the right.
Matsievskyi.
Okay. Yes.
Then you can see only the basement, the outlook of Zvernetsky
Right. Right.
fortification, and the central part, the citadel, the Pechersky. It's,
Yes.
It was constructed around Kyivo-Pecherska Lavra.
Wow.
So, and here there is a Olecsandr fort.
Okay.
See?
Well, that's
It
incredible.
was constructed to protect a railway bridge.
Oh.
There.
So there was a bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is there a bridge there now?
Maybe no.
Maybe no.
You see, it's not far from station Vydubichi.
Okay.
And Vydubichi and on the one bank,
Right.
and the next station Slavutich is on the other bank.
Okay.
So maybe some bridge is still there.
Sure. Yeah. I gotcha.
And here it's a temporary
Housing, expositions and all that.
Kyiv on their postcards.
Oh, I get you. So these are some of the different periods of Kiev and Ukraine in the postcards.
That's mostly Kyiv.
Mostly Kiev, okay. Wow. Very beautiful. I know the architecture, in Europe, especially Eastern Europe, it's just really ornate. I really love it. I mean, it's invigorating. You go to Poland, right here in Kyiv, Kharkiv, too bad. I mean, they really, I was in Kharkiv, and that was a beautiful city. And here's some more.
Maybe you should visit also Odessa,
Odessa.
A little later.
A little later, yeah. I know some people have gone down there, but I guess the timing was right for them, right? My timing's not that good. I end up going there and get bombed or something. My hat goes out to the people that stay, because it's a risk.
So here we're getting again into the information.
Okay.
Here you can see photos dedicated to our times.
Yes, it reflects all the times of today and the sad realities and the poor kids that are growing up in a country that is at war, and they're seeing tragedy all around it. All we can do is pray. Hopefully there's a good, humanity is the only thing, good humanity is the only thing that will bring us out of this.
So this is the end of our exhibition.
Thank you so much.
So here I have a personal question to you.
Okay, let me shut this off. So that's made of silicone, right?
Yeah.
Look and that looks so realistic. I think I seen him walking around somewhere. Wow, that is impressive.
It's our national hero, Oleksandr Matsievskyi.
So that's,
Do you know his story?
no, I don't.
You know, he was captured.
Oh, is he the one that said Slava Ukraini? I seen the video.
Yeah.
I seen that video. This is the guy right here that when he said Slava Ukraini, he had a cigarette in his mouth and they shot him dead.
No, in fact, it was a very strange thing to film it and to upload it to YouTube.
Yes.
But they fixed the military crime.
Right.
And they really created a national hero.
A national hero.
So it was twice stupid thing to do.
Oh my goodness. I saw that video, you know, I saw that clip and I'm saying to myself, well, he was a real man, a patriot, and he wasn't going to take any nonsense, and he let him know, you know, that Slava Ukraini, because the Russians are monsters. Look what they did in Bucha and Irpin, and you know, what they've been doing is just horrendous. They're bullies. The Russians are bullies, and they're expansionists. They've always been expansionists.
Seriously, the first time I got some tips for keeping silence. Thank you very much. so now this is it, really.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
You can come out.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Good luck.
Good luck. Thank you. Okay, bye. All right, folks. As you can see, that was a nice tour, and she was very gracious. And it was, you know, it's a reminder that why is the world still at war today in 2024? There's so much going on. Do your best to just be decent human beings and be nice to your neighbor, and just even people that are walking down the street, the elderly, say hi to your neighbors. All right. Thanks, folks. All right. Have a nice day. See you later.